101 years old. That's what the calendar says. That's what my great-grandchildren tell me when they count on their fingers. 101 trips around the sun, and I'm still here, still got all my teeth, most of my hair, and a mind sharp enough to know when somebody's trying to sell me something I don't need. My name is Clarence Washington, and I've buried 3 doctors, 2 dentists, and a whole congregation of people who swore they knew the secret to living forever. Turns out most of them didn't know a blessed thing. Now, before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, let me say this. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a degree hanging on my wall. What I have is 101 years of evidence. Evidence that comes from waking up every morning, putting my feet on the floor, and deciding that today is worth showing up for. That's something they can't teach you in medical school. That's something you got to learn from living. Everybody wants to know the secret. They come to me with their notebooks and their recording devices. They ask me what I eat, how much I sleep, if I take vitamins. And I tell them the truth, but they don't want to hear it. Because the truth is simple, too simple. People want complicated. They want a pill, a powder, a program with 12 steps and a monthly subscription fee. But that ain't how life works. Life is simple. It's us that make it complicated. So here it is, the one secret, the only secret that matters. And I'm going to tell it to you straight, no chaser, the way my mama told it to me when I was just a boy sitting on her knee. You ready? Here it is. Purpose, that's it. That's the secret. Purpose, having a reason to get up in the morning that's bigger than yourself. That's the whole thing right there. Now, I can see you looking confused. You thought I was going to tell you about some special tea or some exercise routine. You thought I was going to give you a list of supplements. But I'm telling you, I've seen people who ate nothing but vegetables die at 60. I've seen marathon runners drop dead at 55. I've seen people who did everything right, everything the doctors told them to do, and they still left this earth before their time. You want to know what they were missing? They were missing a reason. They were missing purpose. Let me tell you about my friend Samuel. Samuel was a good man. He worked for the railroad for 40 years, saved his money, did everything by the book. The day he retired, they threw him a party, gave him a gold watch, told him to enjoy his golden years. 6 months later, Samuel was dead, just like that. His body didn't know what to do without the work. His mind didn't have a reason to keep going. He retired from life, and life retired from him. Then there was Miss Dorothy. Miss Dorothy lived down the street from me. She was 97 years old when I met her. She was still teaching piano lessons to children in her living room. Her fingers were crooked with arthritis, but she could still play. She told me once, she said, "Clarence, the day I stop teaching is the day I stop breathing." And you know what? She taught piano until she was 103. Died in her sleep 2 days after her last student's recital. She had purpose. She had a reason. That's what people don't understand. Your body is a machine, yes, but it's a machine that runs on meaning. It runs on purpose. You can give it all the right fuel, all the right maintenance, but if there's nowhere to go, it's going to break down. It's going to rust. It's going to stop. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should ignore your health. I'm not saying you should eat garbage and sit on the couch all day. I eat good food. I walk every morning. I drink my water. I do all those things, but I do them because I have somewhere to be. I have people who need me. I have work that ain't finished yet. That's the difference. The food is the fuel, but purpose is the engine. Let me tell you what my purpose is. Maybe it'll help you understand. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I go down to the community center. I sit with young men who are trying to turn their lives around. Men who made mistakes. Men who spent time in places they shouldn't have been. And I talk to them. I listen to them. I tell them my story. I tell them about the time I almost gave up. The time I thought life wasn't worth living. And I tell them how I found my way back. That's my purpose. Those young men are my purpose. And on Saturdays, I go to the library. I read to children, little ones, 5, 6 years old. I read them stories about heroes and adventures. I see their eyes light up when I do the voices. I see them laugh when I make the funny sounds. And I know in my bones that I'm planting seeds. Seeds that might not grow for years, but they're in there. That's my purpose. Those children are my purpose. Sunday mornings I'm in church, not because I'm trying to get into heaven. I made my peace with the Lord a long time ago. I'm there because the young pastor needs someone to remind him that faith isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up even when you're broken. I'm there because the congregation needs to see that you can live a long life and still believe in something bigger than yourself. That's my purpose. That faith, that community, that's my purpose. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about me. That's the secret. The secret to a long life is making your life about something other than yourself. When you wake up in the morning, if the only thing you're thinking about is your own comfort, your own pleasure, your own problems, you're going to die young. Maybe not in body, but in spirit. And a dead spirit will kill a body faster than any disease. I've seen it happen. I've seen people retire and then spend the rest of their days watching television and complaining about their aches and pains. They got nothing to do, nowhere to be, nobody who needs them. And they wither, they shrink, they fade away. It's the saddest thing in the world because they're not living. They're just waiting to die. But when you have purpose, when you have a reason, everything changes. Your body knows it's needed. Your mind knows it's useful. And something deep inside you, something that doctors can't measure, starts working to keep you here. Because the work ain't done, because people are counting on you, because there's still something left to give. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying there aren't hard days. There are mornings when my knees hurt so bad, I can barely stand. There are nights when I can't sleep because the memories are too heavy. There are days when I wonder if I've got anything left to offer, but then Tuesday comes around and I get myself down to that community center and I see those young men waiting for me. And I remember why I'm still here. That's the secret. That's the only secret that matters. Find your purpose. Find your reason. Find the thing that makes you necessary. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be real. It just has to matter to someone other than yourself. Maybe your purpose is your grandchildren. Maybe it's your garden. Maybe it's volunteering at the hospital or coaching Little League or making quilts for people who are cold. I don't care what it is. Just find it. Find it and hold on to it like your life depends on it. Because it does. People ask me all the time, they say, Clarence, how do you do it? How do you keep going? And I tell them, I don't have a choice. I got work to do. I got people counting on me. I got a reason to be here. And as long as I got that reason, my body's going to do everything it can to keep me around. That's just how it works. So if you want to live a long life, a happy life, stop looking for the answer in a bottle or a book or a diet plan. Look for it in purpose. Look for it in meaning. Look for it in the faces of people who need what only you can give. That's the secret. That's the whole thing. Purpose. It's always been purpose, and it always will be.